Hi, welcome to the 29th edition of GrandLine Grinders podcast, where we talk mainly about competitive One Piece TCG. And this week, the half-breed, again, he's not really buying into this format. I mean, I don't blame him. I don't really care for this format either. Emu Ace, it's kind of just really stagnated. There's not much to talk about in regards to the meta decks this week. They didn't really post it on Eggman events, and, well, the only thing that ever changes is the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th deck. 10th deck, they just kind of rotate in and out. But the top 5 never changes. It's just consistent. So this week, I am brought with my co-host today is going to be Repreach. He's been one of my biggest people that I've had him a part of my channel for the longest time. He's one of my moderators. He's also, I think he might actually be an admin, technically. So,
yes.
So he also has posted some White Schwartz content on this channel before. And yeah, so we're going to be joined with him discussing the trends in the increased random jump of prices on One Piece this past week, and also the brand new few new cards that got spoiled from EB04. So, Repreach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to the end of the college semester rolling up and some goodies coming out soon, and hopefully being able to have some free time to be able to play card games again after the end of the semester is all over with finals.
Hopefully, the leader we talk about today is going to be your new leader for One Piece. I know you haven't found out really your home in regards to what leader you want to play. You were playing Gart for a little bit.
I was, and then they brutally got rid of Geki Moria on me, and I'm like, no, I was playing it because of reanimation.
Yeah, now there's a lot of decks that have reanimation, and Crocodile is kind of cool. So hopefully this is the deck for you going forward. We'll see. But we're going to, like I said, jump right out of the gate. We're going to talk about the trends this past weekend of increased prices. And I want to start with a different card game first. So the Avatar, The Last Airbender. So the price of the box has been dipping up until the sale from TCG Player this past weekend. Then it had a huge increase. I think like 300 boxes sold in one day at the beginning of the sale. And after the sale ended, it just like collapsed. And now it has rebounded because I'm assuming this is FOMO. People thought maybe the price dropping this low is just a fluke and maybe they should buy it now type thing rather than just waiting for it to drop more. But what do you think?
I think, considering this is Magic, this is not Pokemon. This is probably not a scalper thing. Also, though, this is off of TCG Player. Your LGS's store prices are going to be a little bit more stable than the internet's supply due to how it works on TCG Player. Given that, it's going to be a little bit awkward and weird. I think Atla as a set for Magic is going to make an impact and a splash. I mean, how many UB sets have we gotten so far? We got Final Fantasy, we got Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a big hit. Spider-Man's also, though, had a whole bunch of controversies with some of the cards that have dropped. So that now leads into looking forward to the Atla. I don't really know so much of what's been already spoiled for Atla, but I'm assuming there's probably going to be a couple things with I've heard with Earthbending being a little bit crazy with lands and animation and all that. So I'm assuming some of the TOFs are going to be extremely expensive. I don't really know how much people are going to go crazy over the big foily spicy Aang that they've dropped, nor what's the other big hit card on the Azula, I think, right?
Yeah, there's a special foiling for certain ones. They're like $800 a piece.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
I'm assuming people are not going to be cracking like they would be doing crazy, but this is got a set attached to it, that an IP that I know personally. My roommate last year, he had a tattoo of the Fire Nation over his chest because he loved the redemption story of Zuko. So this comes very near and dear to me as well.
So I imagine this actually probably sold pretty well because 347 boxes day one of the weekend. So the sale was they get $10 credit back for TCG Player for every percent of 10% of whatever you buy, right? So, and Avatar The Last Airbender, what I've understood, is like one of the best draft sets in a very long time. So people like even DatHalfbreed, which left Magic the Gathering, has gone back to Arena just to play Avatar Draft.
I've also
It's that
heard that
good.
they got rid of set boosters, right?
Yes, it's only play boosters and collector boosters.
So we're back to actually good booster packs instead of the ones that they're just trying to charge people up for.
True, but like I said, I think the main thing is like this did sell really well. Like we're gonna get into the One Piece side of it real quick. But I just wanted to showcase that like it's not just a One Piece thing. I don't think this entire um inflation of cost on the cards is because of the actual game.
Yeah, no, it's not. Same thing with Weiss prices right now. Eminence and Shadow, its pre-release is dropped, and Bushiroad is changed their structure from being 18 boxes per case to being 24. And so instead of the normal $600 price it is for a case, now it's a K. So that's a big jump in any direction.
So now coming over to the all arts, because a lot of people are talking about across the community, they're worried that investors have been somehow just started pouring their money into One Piece and they're buying out boxes, they're buying out all arts. And as you can see, there was hardly any sales for this card until boom. Here is the weekend of the sale, right? The 28th, I think December 1st. So, like I said, if you spent $170 for this card, you get 10% back in store credit and TCG player credit. So you could use that money and buy something else later on. So after this, you see this humongous spike because too many people bought it during that time period of the sale. So 15, which is very abnormal for this card. Like 4, 5 is like the top end.
Just an interesting question from a bit of a economic noob, slightly leaning to the political. When did the government shutdown officially end?
I don't know. It was recent, but
I would feel like there's some sort of level of timing with that might line up. It's either that or payday come in because people don't always get paid every day of the week.
yeah, I mean that is true. But like I said, my argument more is, I think people just literally spent all that they could because the risk is less during that weekend because he has Cyber Weekend. So
Yes.
if you pay $162 for a bot for this Luffy, you get 10% back in money value. It's
17
less.
bucks back, so even if it has a fall stop gap on $50, you still walk away feeling good.
Yeah, so like as a One Piece enjoyer, you might not have wanted to buy this card, and you always wanted this card, but you never had the risk and the reward of purchasing a card like this. If you don't have that much money to move around as a consumer, you might actually like, you know what, the risk is less now. I might want to purchase this card. I've always wanted it. So like that is a lot of what happened here. Um, so as you see, like 21 people bought it during that weekend, and another 15 up until the end of that. So you had literally like 36 copies sold during the sale, and hardly anybody has bought it since. But the price went up because there's less supply at that current point because a lot of them got bought out, and now it's starting to teeter back down. I imagine it's going to start falling. If this is true, I think you would see in the next couple of weeks this price start dropping back to the way it was before the sale. Um, what do you think?
I think it's probably going to drop, but I don't think it's going to be a drop back to where it began. Cards always like to increase in value, even if it's going to be a temporary fall. People are probably just waiting for it to drop maybe 20 more bucks before they buy it again.
That is valid. I mean, some people might think, like I was talking with over here, people seeing that hey, this since the sale ended, it dropped like $10, I think, and then everyone's like, oh my god, it dropped $10. That must mean it's the perfect time to buy the boxes. I always wanted the box, and then it shoots right back up because people buy it on the dip.
Yep. Yet again, this might be something like payday wheels. I mean, SPs, I know from most people will pick up one at a time rather than the full play set. because they can only get so much money allocated for the month. So I
Yeah,
have a feeling they're buying as they come along, letting the price dip, and then grabbing them as they can.
but honestly, with the numbers sold, 21, 15, it honestly could
That's
have been
kind of crazy.
it could have been a situation where somebody did buy a playset. Just because they the 10% back, they're like, hey, this is actually a great time to buy a playset, and they just bought a playset. Now,
Very true.
this is not financial advice. That 10% does not take into account if you have a high charge card and you put it on a charge card and you can't pay it off in time. It's not worth it. But because that actually gets into a later point we're going to talk about. So Sabo is another great example. This is a manga rare from the newest set. For the longest time, it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The sale, 12 people
Boom.
bought it, and then 0, 0, 0. So like literally nobody was buying this card until it went on sale, and then 12 people bought it. It shot right up. So I think like, again, I think the showcase is what I'm saying. Like it didn't have the demand. Like nobody wanted it until it was on sale, and you can get the 10% back off of rebate basically, and then people bought it up.
You would not believe. I feel like this is one of those times where people are just getting warped into the idea of a sale. It's either that or they finally have been putting together their money to be able to spend. Just looks like a great time to be in the card community selling stuff.
Yeah, so like people were worried it was scalpers or investors or pokey pros, but if it was the case, you would, for one, I think 12 would be a low number.
Oh,
Investors
absolutely.
investors would
I
be
think if it
actually
was
buying,
scalpers, there would not be one left. The market would be off of TCG Player and it would be selling from somebody else.
in its defense, there's only like 6, 7 copies available.
Yep.
And for the Luffy, there is no copies available. So you could argue scalpers came in here and they bought up all the play sets, the 12 copies that they had access to. Because this is a very rare card. And as you see, the Luffy, on the other hand, like it is.
The thing is, though, you would see the same circulation being relisted if it was scalpers. You wouldn't just see them buy it out. You'd see the price average just jump without the supply changing.
Wow. That's insane. So during that sale, 3 people bought this card at $8,371.
Those people have more money than I will see in the next 2 lifetimes.
That is insane. So yeah, there's no copies available of this rare. Because some people are speculating the increase in price on the box because everyone's thinking that they could pull this and walk out with the price of the box or the case, which is very unlikely. So the case, this is where the main of the attraction is. So right before the sale, it was about $180 per box. During the sale, it skyrocketed up to $231. So people were getting about 10% back off of $230. You know, it's not too bad.
So $23 back in the pocket.
Yeah, so then it dipped a little bit, and then comes FOMO. Most likely, people are like, oh my god, it dropped. So it's the perfect time to buy. And then a few people bought it, and then now it's kind of just slowly, less people are buying it. So,
given that that's happening with every single One Piece product, I'm assuming that it's not so much scalping going on because it just seems like a general trend. Because if it was just scalpers, they would not be touching every single product.
yeah, I think it's across the board. That's why I showed you the magic. Because like I think it's across the board a TCG player. Any TCG, the sale, I'm assuming, attracted a lot more buyers than normal during that weekend. And I was actually debating about doing a case. Because I was like, 10% back? I'm not even a collector, right? I'm not an investor either. I'm just a player. But $2,500 for a case, I get what? You're arguing about what? $250 back? Is that right?
$250, $2,500. Yes, it'd be $250 back in store credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the current price, it would have been $333. But
yeah, it would have been a pretty good rebate.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I would be able to I would be able to just open a box a day for the and be happy. But yeah, so like
True.
again during that sale, 19 sold of cases, 16, and then at the end of it, like it was quite a bit. So like people were buying a case, which is 12 boxes, which is kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot. Now
It's
people
quite a
were,
lot.
yeah, people were spectating that they were buying this because they thought maybe they could pull this
I do
and
have to ask: are One Piece cases seated?
seated.
So I know this is a difference between Magic and Weiss. Whereas Magic, if you get a case, you're not guaranteed to get a single copy of every single card in the set. Whereas in Weiss, if you buy a case, if you buy specifically a master case, you are guaranteed 5 play sets of every single card, along with a guaranteed SP per case, and then an SR per box. So it is seeded all the way through, with the packs having their rarity set. Magic only has the pack set, not necessarily the overall thing.
Yeah, so I would say it's like in between. You're not definitely not guaranteed if you bought a case to get a playset of every single card. That's definitely not a thing. I think you for each box you guarantee 2 hits. So like you technically have a similar you have a small, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think you get 2 rares. Sometimes you get a SR and a rare, but the 2 things you get that are special are like either you get a special art, a gold dawn, um, or a manga rare or whatever. So you get like 2 of those chase cards shoved in your box, guaranteed. So like you do get semi guaranteed that you're probably going to get at least half of your money back, probably. Um,
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Sometimes if you buy them single individually, I've been having a horrible time opening up OP13 and getting terrible cards. I did get a all art Luffy, but since this set is so widely opened, it's like a lot of the cards are dirt cheap. If you actually look at the actual price of these cards, like it's very very cheap. Like most of the SRs are like under $2, so it's a very very cheap set to be honest. So you have your secret rare. This is one of the best secret rares from the set. It's about $7 right now. The other SR secret rare is 12, and this secret rare is like 320. And then every super rare, the highest one I think is 5 elders for $2.80, and everything else is $1.50 or lower. So like
So it
this
is
set,
incredibly a good time to get into the game right now if you're trying to pick up singles.
yeah. So like the best deck in the format, which is the Emu deck, it's like $30 for the best version, and you just pick it up, play it, you're good. Ace, on the other hand, has a little bit more of an expensive time because it plays some older cards. But yeah, so if you want base rarity cards, like you could pick up almost every card here dirt cheap. Like you could buy a whole play, you could buy every card from this set, probably under $80,
Crazy.
and you have a play set of the entire set. So
Which is actually impactful considering One Piece is a rotating formatted game.
well, I mean, 3 years, so
It's not much. That's not different from Magic, but it still is crucial
yeah,
because
yeah,
cards
yeah,
are going to jump in price as things go along.
yeah. I can't remember if Pokemon also is 3 years or two,
I
but
believe it's 2.
yeah, so it's not like bad like Pokemon and Magic where it used to be, right? Where it used to be 2 years. But this one allows 3 blocks, which 3 blocks I think is there's a every year a block is a year. No, that maybe that's not right because how long has One Piece started? I thought it was 2023.
It was before 20. Was it 2023? So One Piece got its kicks after 2021. I know that for sure. I would think it'd be in 2022 because there were sparsities with it still when it was getting its feeding ground going. This is one of those underground kind of
So,
card games.
yeah, July 2022
Yeah, that tracks.
was the first shot. So that
Because
means
I remember a whole bunch of people swapping off of Magic and going to One Piece since it's such a characterizable, superior game. But also, I will say one of the things that is sad to me is the lack of complex interaction. Like you do not have to worry so much about a stack with One Piece.
yeah, it basically is no stack. It's a one
Yeah,
for one. The thing has to resolve, and then you could do the next counter or something like that. But yeah, so I do like the fact that this is one of the cheapest products ever, and it's also one of the most impactful products ever. So that is a positive. Like every card is so cheap. So getting into the game with a highly competitive deck is not that bad. But for me, I'm waiting. I bought. I was talking about this mainly because I was during this sale. I was debating about buying a box or a case, but I ended up only really justifying buying the cards I need for a deck that's coming in January before people start buying out all the Doflamingo stuff because
the good old
Doflamingo.
JP scouting.
Yeah. So I figured I should buy out. I should buy my copies of the A Drop Doflamingo before they start becoming $6-7, and they were $3 a piece. So I bought my place. I have a place out of that and the older cards from Doflamingo because Doflamingo is a pretty decent deck. It's getting wins over in the East right now. So yeah, I forgot to mention the here's premium booster as well. Like so around this time period, like it was kind of stagnated right here, and then it just skyrocketed right during the sale. Again, like this right here is the sale, I think, right in this period right here. So like it basically people came in and bought all the boxes up, and the demand now or the supply now is so low, so people they're just not available. So I guess there's 5 pages, but
'Tis the season to be spending money.
yeah, yeah. If you have your yeah, if someone was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy my husband a box of One Piece. It was a great day to buy it. Um, but yeah, so like, I think that is one of the things that my opinion why the prices are so high. Um, are
You
the
got to be careful
inflated?
not to use that excuse later when your little boy grows up.
Oh, him buying me a box.
Oh no! I'm buying Jebediah a box. I'm not buying me a box.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey. That's strictly Pokemon cards. Um, I'm not probably gonna start him off with One Piece. You have to train him. You know, you have to teach him in the, the lower competitive or the lower knowledge, required, right? To get familiar with the trading card games.
That means you have to start with Yu-Gi-Oh.
No.
Listen, he doesn't need to count. He just needs to see dead or not.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is one of the most complex games.
I still feel like, well, okay, it's complex because there's nothing holding anything back. I feel like out of all the games to get a kid started on, since there is no resource management, that is probably one of the easier ones to get somebody started on. Given that they have no other TCG experience.
I mean, regrettably, the only resource I guess in Yu-Gi-Oh is how many characters or creatures you could play in a given turn. But with Pokemon, the only restriction is you can only play one supporter per turn, and you only attach one energy, unless other stated otherwise. So like,
So there is some sort of level of resource management on that. You also
yeah,
have to keep track of not the energy that is gotten played, but who you're playing it to in specific. Yu-Gi-Oh, you pretty much do your thing or you don't. Magic is sometimes a slower paced game, which can be hard for hyperactive kids to pay attention to or be able to keep up with. So
yeah,
you'll
but
figure it out.
yeah, wouldn't be opposed to teaching him about Yu-Gi-Oh, but my concern is like, is he really gonna have a fun time if he plays a big tournament and he walks home saying, "Daddy, I want an air fryer." I don't know about that one. Like, I mean, at least if we play with Pokemon, like, I think they give decent prizes. One Piece gives decent prizes, so I just don't know how excited a kid could be walking home like, I got an air fryer. Like, a kid's not gonna be excited about that.
That's true. Well, you need to look for tournaments that are low stake and are just a pack per win.
Yeah, actually, that's what the Treasure Cups were. I played the last few week 2 of them. Um, yeah, so like my store over here, every win you got a pack. I was like, okay, it was an $8 entry fee, but I'll take it. I ended up only winning. I got 4 packs because
Oh, hell
this
yeah.
the second one I went one in. I went 0-3, and then I had a bye, so I got a win. It was like the worst feeling ever because I'm like, it felt like I got 3 losses, then I got a bye, which is like a pity win, and I was like, man. And then
Hey, at least you didn't fly all the way to Rochester, New York for that to happen to you.
yeah, but at least you got to, I guess, maybe visit around New York a little bit.
I did. It was a fun experience. I will say, I will love to do it again. The people who I went with made it grand. Though, God, did it suck not getting any sleep. I was too excited the whole time.
Yeah, I mean that's not. Yeah, that definitely is a thing. If you're just overly excited about something. Like I know, like when we had our first child, like yeah, we did not get a lot of sleep the night before. Like we were just so anticipated. Like we didn't know what was gonna happen. So much change is gonna happen in one night over one night. Boom, there's a kid. So yeah, there's a different kind of excitement, I guess.
That one's way more scary and happy, I would assume.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I'm just over here like, Wakari Gaskma.
yeah, it's definitely something different, right? Having your second kid. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as big of a swap, but because you're kind of familiar with it. But yeah, so that's all I want to talk about, I guess, regarding um the price hikes. Do you have any other thing you want to add on about the price hikes? What you think could it be? Do you think there could be any reasonable doubt that it could be a scalper or investors coming into One Piece?
I think there is some part of me that wants to slap on my tinfoil hat and go at it and go, I don't think it's a scalper. I think there might be a big fish. Some might call them bigger than a fish. Some might call them a walleye. I think it's pronounced as.
I've always, at least in Magic, we've always called them whales.
Is that how you pronounce that word? Well,
They're
there's a chance it could have been a whale.
So basically, because in Magic, there was always people that loved the card game a lot, and they have a lot of expendable income, and they just buy whatever they want. But they're not really, I wouldn't call them collectors or investors. They just love the game. So,
Think in terms of since most of your audience is somewhat magic related, considering the roots of this channel and all that. Think Post Malone. Bro is not a collector in full. Bro legitimately enjoys the card game. But he's going to be rocking that Black Lotus and that One of One ring whenever he can.
does he own a Black Lotus?
He owns a print Black Lotus, an artist proof Black Lotus.
Ah, I knew he bought the one ring. Um, so like, it doesn't surprise me. Like people that love the game, I mean, I gotta imagine there's probably a lot of celebrities that like the show One Piece potentially, and they just want to buy the cards.
Yeah, they just want to buy the stuff and have the goodie stuff and just go like, ooh, yummy foil, like 3K. I earned that like in 2 seconds.
I
Here's
mean,
to hoping Taylor Swift doesn't start setting our prices for us.
oh my gosh, I wonder if there would be a mass exited if someone like Taylor Swift was a One Piece fanatic. I don't know.
What?
I'm kidding. But
Yo,
it'd be,
we'd have Swifties up in this game. I don't know if I want to be in that either.
I don't know if it'd be the same equivalent. Like, you know how, like, you, when growing up, if your mom was into it, you're like, this is not cool anymore.
Yo, what?
I'm kidding.
Bro is crazy for that take.
There's
I'll
plenty of
make
people
sure I
that
get
have that.
Mama preach in on this now.
Mama preach.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely was a thing, at least when I was in high school. The teenagers always want to do the opposite of their parent. But
Unfortunately, I've always had to deal with the opposite. My parents never do want to do something I'm interested in. Try
well, yeah,
getting Papa Preach one time interested in playing Halo 4 with me. He went like, "Why don't we just go shoot real guns?" I'm like, "Ammo's more expensive."
I mean, he has a point though. I mean, if you're into shooting real guns, and he's forking out the price of the bullets, then I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
But that's
yes,
it's kind of out
but
of the
also 30-30 is not cheap.
but that's kind of out of the scope of One Piece when it comes to that. Um, so we did get 2 new cards spoiled. So from wrong set, wrong view. There we go. So uh, from the I watched today's episode before the stream or before the podcast, and of course she did her second appearance, becoming Nico Julie Bonney in the show. So basically, she is mastered a way to have a future obfuscated ability, so she can maybe turn herself into something that she could be in the future. Which, if she ate the fruit that Luffy has, is why she's now able to be free and have this ability. So this brand new leader from EB04, 5,000 attack once per turn. If our opponent's turn, if you have 1 or less life cards, this leader gains 2,000 power. So it's 2,000 on offense and only on defense. And then activate main once per turn. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power for the turn. Then if you have 2 or more life, you may add 1 card from the top of your life to your hand. So eventually, you could, I guess, take the cards from the top of your life to get down to 1,000 life. So that way she becomes a 7,000 on defense. What are your thoughts about this as a leader?
I think this is a very interesting tactic. It's suited very well considering it's set in yellow, which we both know is a good color for healing, and we're getting that life back. So manipulating that life total to get card advantage is probably something in theme for that. In theme for Bonney herself, considering she goes through her life with aging and de-aging, I think this is probably something very fair to have thematically on that end as well. The extra tatted in red, I don't know. Red typically is overly aggressive, which reducing your life total would seem to be that way. But the best way of probably building a leader like this would to be having a lot of cards that replace that life total that you're draining incidentally as well. Also, necessarily drawing a second card out of your life at control is not always going to be the greatest thing, considering you're going to typically draw that card naturally anyways if you were going to take damage. So the extra payoff of getting a negative 1,000 can let you win some fights, but I don't think it's going to be the best thing to do.
Yeah, so basically that 1,000 minus is the red side of her. Because red is usually the color that minus 1,000 power off of stuff. So that's the only thing really in this card that reflects the red side. I mean, I guess technically sometimes taking a life is a red ability. That's usually a downside for a powerful thing. In this case, that's not really the case, right? You're not actually taking the life to get a better effect. You're just taking the life. So, like, it's not really it's not really reddish, besides the minus 1,000 power. I do kind of worry that
4 life is also an interesting take with something that's this aggressive.
Yeah, I think she's kind of light when it comes to life.
Yeah. Especially for even though it's red-yellow, still a yellow card in general.
Yeah, I mean, so even if you made her a egghead, There's not a lot of egghead cards in red, so that's also kind of a weird conflict of interest. I'm really disappointed and sad because I was really hoping when they revealed her as the face of the booster pack that she would be the secret rare from the set, um, as this artwork, and they would make a Kuma leader basically the same colors. But the fact that there's no Kuma leader and it's her kind of makes me sad. So it's her third leader, while Kuma has 0, which is kind of disappointing.
I mean, we both know why, though. Kuma is not going to get a leader anytime soon.
Now they did spoil that OP 16 in the Marine War arc again. They will be adding a character that hasn't had a leader before. That was a huge piece of that arc. So some people may speculate that it was Kuma because Kuma smacked them and teleported them away. But also it also could be, what's his face,
Whitebeard?
Barcelona, or it could be Sengoku. Right, those are the main 3 that people are projecting as that
Right,
slot.
we haven't had a Sengoku leader.
We never had a Sengoku leader. We never had a Borsalino either, which is the guy that has shoots the fast speed.
Yes.
They both were very big in that arc. So like, I don't know, but it does make me sad that we got a third Bonney leader, and we haven't got a Kuma. But overall, my main concern about her is, isn't there kind of already a better version of her, like already available? So, and I think OP11, we got Nami. So, if you have a Dawn attached to her on your opponent's attack, you may trash a card from your hand. This leader gains 2,000 power for the turn. She's also 5,000 for life leader. So she doesn't really require you to go down to 1 to get that 2,000 boost on defense. You just pitch a card and you naturally get that boost. So I feel like she's just a statistically better version of Bonney. Yeah, you get red instead of blue, but the once per turn, this affects you when a card is
better.
Yeah, so
there's no negging for nothing.
Yeah, so if you hit your opponent, they take a life. You get to draw a card. If you play a card like Nico Robin from the new EB03 set, you take a life, gain 2. You also draw a card. So
checking. What's the wording on? I believe it is Goldie Roger. 10 cost Goldie Roger.
From OP09?
Yes.
You do get access to him. That is I guess a valid point.
Because that is a way of comboing out, because it does say, if I'm not wrong, if either you or your opponent has 0 life cards. So I guess there is a strategy that you could rush yourself to 0 at the beginning of the turn using the effect. No, because it's limited to 2. You can't activate the effect unless you have 2 or less. So you can't even utilize Goldie Roger in a way that would be sensical to let you combo with him. So you're struggling even on that access.
No, that's actually a valid point, right? So if you're at 1 life, and the turn you play him, you could literally take that life.
You can't. The leader's restricted to if you have 2 or less, or 2 or more life. You can only activate the ability.
Wait.
If you have 2 or more life cards.
Oh, yeah.
So if it did not have that restriction added on, you could, in theory, use Gold Roger, but that doesn't matter because we're not in that world.
That is true.
So you'd have to have some other way of removing your life cards in an advantageous way, and theoretically, you could poke out some of your opponent's blockers with that Neg 1000, with some other effects that could go on. But we're not in that world. This card just does not line up in a way that synergizes with something that would be absolutely powerful enough to give it a reason.
That is true. Yeah, you're
Unless
right.
If you know any other cards, Kebbs, that would leave us with 2 or less life, having some sort of really good ability that would make this aggressive card worth.
So it's awkward here, right? So like the best card you probably come up with possibly is this old Sanji. Um, so he has the
Which just
activate.
does the effect again.
Yeah, he also has the effect, the downside. So if you get to 1 life, you use his ability that gets you to 0 life, and then you could Roger. Or you can get to 1 life pretty quickly to get the 2,000 bonus. But and he's a 2K counter, which makes him really powerful. Um, Again, so if you're at 3 life, you could activate Bonney's ability, go to 2, use Sanji's ability, go to 1, and at that point you're a 7K leader on defense. But still, either way, I'm not really sold that that's a great way of going
There's
about it.
not as of yet, but who knows? We might have something of a similar effect coming out like Roger, or you might reasonably just be able to play a Shanks and ignore the downside and just go full throttle since you're drawing a guaranteed extra damage. Your opponent can't pace off on you. You will be getting to go through your deck in a pace. Oh no, it's not even going through your deck. Add 1 card. It's just add the life to your hand. So I guess you're just not even getting the deck speed out of it. You're just getting the card advantage. So the best strategy would be to follow something like a rookie rush kind of build.
Yeah, so it's also not worded in a way where you get the most out of her, right? Because if it was worded, if you have 2 or more life, you may take a damage. That would be better technically, because
Yeah.
you
Then you proc stuff.
yeah, you would take the card. If it has a trigger, you get to use the trigger. But this case, you don't even get that. You just get to take the top card of your life. And so I'm assuming there's going to be some red and yellow cards. We won't know them yet. Actually, we might know them soon because it looks like they are spoiling stuff for the East, even though we don't get yet red or yellow until OP15. So there might be support that care about having 1 life remaining. Um,
This is not even 1 life. It's 2. Oh wait, no, it's 2 or more. So I guess you could reduce yourself to 1.
Yes. So you can go to 1. I'm assuming there's going to be some egghead support or Bonney player support that cares about having being at 1 life. And they get a bonus. So I'm not really sure how this leader is going to be effective. Like, there has to be a very good secret rare for her pushed to make her playable. And even then, like I said, I just don't think she's good, better than Nami. Like I just showed you. Like, doesn't take much for her to be a 7,000 power leader for the turn, for your opponent's turn, by just pitching 1 card.
There's knowing card game players, there's probably some route where I'm figuring, don't, if I'm wrong in the future, but this is me looking into my spyglass and reading my dragon scales and all that and tossing the chicken bones. Card game players are going to figure out some way to make an OTK out of this, I feel, between this and some other effect. Whether if it's good or not, that's a separate question, but somebody is going to build an OTK build of this because somebody likes OTK builds. It's probably not me or Cabe's. No. Never could be me.
I mean, I'll try her, of course. I try every leader, which I'm almost to the end. I literally have 12 and 13 left, and then I've finished my entire playing every leader series. So I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done.
Then they're gonna drop 70 more.
Well, I mean, I should be able to stay up current pretty quick, playing 1 leader a week. But so the other new card we got today is this 8-drop 9,000 double attack on play. You may give your active leader minus 5,000 power during this turn to draw 2 cards.
This downside is nothing.
Yeah, so if you're not aware, this is built for the VV leader. So activate main, you may rest as leader, give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for the turn. Then up to 1 of your characters without an attacking ability gains rush this turn. So it's used for her. So she will just activate the ability, rest her, give this new guy rush. So he's a 8-drop 9,000 a 9,000 attack double attacker. So he hits twice on rush, draw 2 because you're not going to be attacking with VVs because he's rested to give this thing rush. So
I mean, you could just attack with VV first and then give the negative 5,000, or am I incorrect on that?
you can, but this wouldn't get rush.
It would not get rush. Yes, but in a situation where that is not an option, Blackbeard removes effects of leaders, or does it remove on plays?
It removes on plays, but they have a 10-drop teach that can turn off the leader ability for the turn. So
So
it would
if you're in a
be
situation like that where somebody's turning off your leader abilities in direct, you might just have this as a different route for an out.
yeah, but I'm just failing to see in what world would you want to swing with your VV instead of giving this rush and attacking with the 9K attacker
Not many.
instead. Yeah. So I think this actually is a decent card for that deck. It's upside. I mean, you're not going to be attacking with VV, so drawing 2 cards is not a terrible effect. It is a rare, and the only downside is it doesn't have any counter on it.
I mean,
Overall,
for an 8 cost 9,000 with 2 good effects, that's not really that much of a thing to worry about.
and besides that, like every other card we've already kind of talked about on on the podcast last week, they officially did spoil the issue card. I'm like the most excited for this card. I'm not sure if you ever played with Kuzan before, Repreach,
I have not yet.
but this card is amazing in it. On play, you trash 2 cards. Then your opponent they have 6 or more cards in their hand. They put 2 of their cards to the bottom of their deck. So, in Kuzan, his ability is basically, if maybe no one's aware of it, OP. Yeah, so Kuzan, whenever a card is trashed from your hand by a Navy type card, draw cards equal to the number of cards trashed.
Ah, using something really busted for some card advantage for free card disadvantage.
Yeah, so you trash 2 cards, draw 2. Your opponent takes 2 cards, put them to the bottom. So it's a pretty good effect. Like you trash 2 bricks, draw 2.
So you just get free looting every single turn.
Yeah,
Off of this card with
most of your
the on
cards.
attack with the 1 Dawn too.
Yeah, it also you equip 1 Dawn attack minus 2,000 on something. You trash a card and loot. Yeah.
Artificially, this thing sits at a 9K for 5, which is, that's pretty nice.
I guess it depends on what you're talking about. You have to attach a Dawn, so he would be an AK. But if you swing into something,
based and 10K.
yeah. But if you swing at something and you minus 2,000 off of an AK, I mean it's kind of like a boosted attack, kind of going into something. But
You also can just straight up say goodbye to 2,000s, which do exist on the low end of blocking.
But it wouldn't remove it. It just reduces its power.
Oh, I thought if they reach 0 power, they just go goodbye.
No.
Damn, it's been a minute. Oh
yeah.
my.
Yeah. We need to get you back into the card game. I know you've been playing competitive White Schwartz, but we need to get you.
I've been doing pretty good at that too. I'm ranked 68th best player in the continent right now.
Yeah, we need to make you also the 68th best One Piece player on the continent.
No, you just need to get me to 69th.
Oh, whoa. That's too much. That's too much for a number.
Hey, listen, you either could do that or you could get me to 6-7.
6, 7.5. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of all the spoilers that we have today. There's not a lot this week. I was hoping for a lot more, like more colors, but I am kind of excited for the set, honestly, especially since we're getting green, blue, and purple. So I will be coming back again playing Kuzan because I'm excited about that leader, and I probably will come back playing some sort of Animal Kingdom Pirates deck, even though our leader's support isn't that great. But these 2 cards I feel like are pretty decent.
I mean, we're going to have a blast with some new goodies with Kaido crashing in. I assume old Big Mom strategies are going to come back into the wheelhouse.
As in, probably a set's going to drop soon with her back in it.
That could be. What's the old 8 cost Big Mom do?
Which color?
Purple.
8 cost Big Mom. I don't remember an 8 cost. There's a 9 cost.
Oh, it's 9. It's 9.
I think she's from
The one
8.
I think she board wipes, doesn't she?
Oh, you're talking about the Kaido and Linlin?
Yes.
That's a 10 drop.
Ah.
Yeah, there's a 9 drop Linlin here. I guessed it right. It was OP8. This one here is big, but there is I think it's secret rare. Um, there it is. Kaido and Linlin for Emperor. So this one here is a 10 drop that you minus 10k Dawn, and then you just KO everything.
I remember back that day I heard the fear mongering between this one and the 9 drop that you just showed, because those two were the big hits.
Yes.
So I have a feeling, considering we're going to see more of the Animal Pirates coming around, that we're going to be seeing more of this card again, just as a scare bear that people might run one of.
Just for the memes.
I mean, just to send it. There's a lot of situations where this card just squeezes you out of in a late game board state, even though it does take some time to set up into. You set this up, you get the swing, you will just win most games regardless of who you're up against. Unless if you get hit with like a Rob Lucci, but then at that point, it is you as a decisive player to know not to have to set this up.
But sadly for you, do you like purple as a color?
I know friends that like a lot of purple. I like the idea of playing anything that goes back in from the bin. So there's a lot of points between black and purple that I have been looking forward to.
So at some point, we will try to do a collab next season. I think that's probably pretty reasonable. So that way you get to firsthand test out Crocodile. Are you a big Crocodile fan by chance?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Croco Mom theories that have been going on in the background.
But what's so cool about him is he has the ability of course, you can KO one of your characters, and then you could minus 10 something for the turn, then trash 2 cards. So he sets you up for a pretty good reanimation. Later in the game, his ability, of course, his primary targets is he has this one, which you can KO. On KO, you could play a 5 or less Baroque Works from your trash, but put it into play. So, or hand or play. So, like, he actually allows your on KO effects to trigger. Your leader does. So this one you can KO it, bring back Mr. 4 Babe or something like that. But did I pass Nico Robin? Okay, I'll miss all Sunday. So this is one of your reanimation cards. If your leader type is Baroque Works, you play up to 1 character with a type including Baroque Works and a cost of 4 or less, and 1 character with the Baroque Works costs 1 from your trash. So she reanimates 2 bodies, a 4 drop and a 1 drop. So
you get all of it from Miss All Sunday.
Yes, every man's fantasy. I'm kidding. I'm joking. But there's plenty of decent 1 drops in your pool. I think the best one's probably her. Yeah, this is your searcher, so she's pretty decent. But the big piece is Mr. Crocodile himself. He's an 8 drop, 10,000. On play, you can basically make one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 9 or less can attack next turn. Then if your opponent has a character with a cost of 0, which is why you have you reduce their opponent's stuff to 0, then you get to draw a card. But on KO, so if he gets KO'd in combat by leader effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand, play this character from your trash. So you play him, you make something can attack, next turn you swing with him, and then you KO him with your leader ability, trash a card, draw a card, he comes back, makes something else can attack. So he's absolutely really kind of fun, I would assume. I think you would have a kick out of this deck.
I think I would have some fun out of the tempo play here.
Yeah. So next season, we're going to try to play it because I'm going to be trying to specialize in Mr. Doflamingo. So I got, like I said, I picked up some of his main cards from older sets. So I'm not usually a huge Doflamingo fan. Like in the anime, seems a little arrogant to me, but at the same
I
time,
honestly think Doflamingo as a villain is one
pretty
of the
good.
best villains written, just period. Not in the idea of that he is got a grounded reason for being as dark and evil as he is, but just so hateable. He is written in such a way of that arrogance is what makes him such a great villain.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
character that goes into the story and the lore of him just deciding to defy everything. And I'm not going to get too much into the spoilers of the show itself, but me and you both know exactly who he kills and why he does it and why he has no remorse.
he kills multiple people.
And that is also fair. But the man has no idea of sin and believes that he is a god amongst men.
Most people argue he's top two when it comes to the arcs. Some people think Crocodile is the best villain of all time, and some people think it's him. So like those are
I
typically.
think Crocodile's background didn't really get worked up enough. Crocodile has a very clean goal. He's not like I hear. I would see more reason from the arguments from Anel being a more inept, being a more competent villain.
I don't know. I don't really hear much about Enel being in the top realm of villains. Like,
Really,
at least from what I've experienced. Like Enel, people like playing him in the card game, but the fact that he just basically came into Skypiea, dominated everybody, and took over and deemed himself as the Lord or God, I should say. Um, I don't know.
well, the thing is the difference between what Enel represents and what Luffy represents that makes like the imagery between the two so great. You have this tyrannical being that is considered fluid and fast and literally electric and energized, and you have the rubber boy that means flexibility and just bouncing back come in and take him down. It is an opposing of ideals in the most physical way possible, let alone just a match that if it was anyone other than Luffy, you could technically say plot armor in this case, but Anel would be winning. And even in the fact that Anel's on the downside the entire fight against Luffy, due to just the natural resistance Luffy has, he comes up with ways mid fight of becoming stronger and better against his opponent.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder. Like, I wonder what the actual power level of Enel actually is. Right? Is
Literally
he?
world class. After Luffy kicks him to the moon, he literally controls the moon. That is official canon.
Well, I'm meaning as in like, is he at the? Could he been at the caliber of like Kaido and Linlin, or would he be under the category Kaido, Linlin, or Newgate, or is he at the caliber of something like Ace and like the second like Marco, like the not the top, but like one tier below.
He's
Maybe at the same caliber as
post moon.
Doflamingo.
Post moon, he does awaken his devil fruit power. So he would be considered quite up there past Doflamingo. Is yet again the only person that can even touch an L is Luffy.
I guess I really haven't seen him all that much since he left. I'm
You'd
assuming
have to be. Are you reading the manga or are you watching the
no, I'm
anime?
only watching.
Okay. Yeah, the whole moon stuff is featured in canon for the manga. It's featured in Offset.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get it in the actual show. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know the power of it now. I only know him from the show. So like wasn't sure if he's at the level of Doflamingo or is he at the level of Kaido, Linlin, Shanks type power level, or he's higher than that. But
I believe the comparable person that he'd be up with is Sengoku.
I guess I don't really know how actually powerful Sengoku is. I only really seen him fight the one time on Ringford for the most part. Like he's usually leading, not really fighting
Yeah.
anymore. Because They don't really haven't shown him that much back in his prime when he was with Garp. But
Oh my gosh. And we still have not seen most of the Rock's pirates yet.
I mean, besides the big names, no.
Yes.
Right? Because he had Kaido on his team, he had Lin on his team.
And we had seen one of them from the prison break.
Prison Break.
I have to ask, do you know about the Croc Mom theory?
The Croc mom theory?
Yeah.
Like, who's his mom?
Yes.
Oh. No, I have no clue who would be his mom.
Oh no, you don't understand. So the Croc Mom theory goes that Crocodile is Luffy's mother.
That's funny.
So here's the thing. How did he get wrapped up into the war?
In Marineford?
Yes.
Because he was on the boat with Luffy?
Not only that, but who convinced him that they owed him a favor?
Wasn't it Whitebeard?
It wasn't Whitebeard. Think about it. Who has the hormone fruit?
So Ivankov.
Yes. What's Ivankov known for?
Changing hormones.
Changing what?
Changing hormones, stuff like that, yeah.
But also changing people's genders. So the Croc Mom theory is that Crocodile and Ivankov, after giving birth, changed to hide it away.
So you're saying that Ivankov is actually also no. Dragon. That would mean that Dragon and Crocodile are the parents?
Yes, that's the theory. And the reason why he doesn't try killing Luffy after the war and everything, and like takes a moment, if you watch through it, there's a spot where he like jumps in to protect Luffy, is because he realizes Luffy's his kid.
Interesting. I've never heard that.
Yeah, there's a whole Croc Mom theory. It's like ridiculously one of the most believable theories, because apparently at that point we have seen Luffy's mom. She has been shown. Oda did say that he put her in there intentionally. So you have seen her face.
And that was in the manga? I mean, that was in the manga or in the show already?
In the show. In an interview, he said that up to like, this was a long while ago, like years ago. But he said that he had already shown Luffy's mom in the anime. So it wouldn't be the first time seeing her. But I also believe that was the same interview of the reason why everybody's mother is dead inside of One Piece, pretty much. Because mothers are the antagonist to adventure. Mothers keep their boys safe. This is his words. They keep their boys safe and away from the danger. That's the reason why he physically removed them from the situation, including Nami's mother.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oda's one hell of... Oh, it's also funny. I learned this yesterday. Apparently, the reason why Sanji's got like 6 siblings or something like that is part of septuplets is because his daughter really liked a show about a bunch of quadruplets, I believe. And he went like, oh, maybe if I implement a bunch of siblings for Sanji in this show, this will get them to start watching it.
So this one's, yeah, so you got me curious now. This one says that they think it's Trinoma is Luffy's mom.
Trinoma.
Tritoma. Introducing the recent manga series as the Empress before Boa Hancock.
That's an interesting route to go. I have also heard a theory that Enel, or sorry, not Enel, Who is the person that sits on the throne? That they're Luffy's mother. I mean, there's going to be a big conflict with that. Obviously, this is all theories. So this later out comes out to be the correct thing. We have no idea of knowing.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be the very end. He'll finally tell us.
Yeah,
Just to put all
yeah.
of them to. Yeah, so I mean that could be the case. I mean I guess that would make sense. But then you would think that Crocodile would be very close in his workings with the Revolutionary Army. Then,
Well, that's why he knows Ivankov. That's
but
why he owes Ivankov a favor. That's why he can't say no to Ivankov. He's not actively hostile towards him.
so he is basically working for the Revolutionary Army.
Not exactly. He got ties with the Revolutionary Army.
Interesting, interesting little discussion at the end of the podcast for sure. I don't
Oh, yeah.
know. That'd be very interesting to know if this is the case or not. But
All right, let me. I've been spitting my theories. Who do you think is Luffy's mom? Let me hear the theories you've heard. Besides,
Miss Sunday.
you think it's Miss Sunday?
That would be no.
She's not old enough. She's
Yeah.
younger than Luffy.
No, she's not.
She's not?
No, she's like 30.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, she was 9. You know, O'Hara was blew up before Luffy was even born.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like 30, 31, around there.
Right. Right. And I now remember why. Didn't like all of them get aged back, and then she was the only one that got like aged to 18 and hated it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Like, I know she's not that much older, so she would have to be like 10 to have Luffy as a son. I'm joking, of course. I don't know. Like it could just very well. It could just be. I don't know if Miss Mankio. I don't know how old technically she is. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Makino. I know she's on their home island, but I don't know. I don't know.
No, I doubt she's Luffy's mom.
I'm assuming you found her.
I also would doubt Sayuri's Luffy's mother as well.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, I doubt. Otherwise, she'd be way more possessive of Luffy, I would think.
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe they'll spoil something in the future.
And it would be kind of against the idea of how Oda operates, considering the whole statement of mothers are the opposite of adventure and all that. If Luffy's mom was, there from the beginning, there with him from the beginning, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good, very interesting conversation. I don't know. That's definitely outside of my scope of knowledge when it comes to the lore. Like I said, I only watched the show. Maybe I should watch the manga. I mean, read the manga at some point. But I've never been a huge reader, so
Don't worry about it. The anime is quite good. The anime adaptation's quite full. Just the manga's ahead on stuff, so there's a lot of people wondering. And then if you don't listen to the interviews or the gossip around all of it from the theories, you're not going to know a bunch of the theories and all that tags along with it. But I would highly suggest looking into the Croc Mom theory, because it's a very interesting deep dive into the lore of all of it.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense. You're right. I don't know what other reason he would have an debt to her, Ivankov, but you never know. And closing thought, and closing part of the podcast. How about you could just sit back and enjoy this Ivankov picture?
Hell yeah.
So closing thoughts. So what did you think about your first experience on the podcast? Let us know in the comment section what you guys think about Repreach. You want him back again. Because he, like I said, I've known him for quite some time when I first got into the magic content creation. He's always been kind of around. So it's nice to finally have him on a podcast like this.
Yippee!
I mean, so what do you think about the podcast? And do you have any shout outs and stuff like that?
uh, Go sub to KB on his normal channel and on the ACG.
Yeah,
You'll
because tech.
sometimes see me pop up. I'm planning on putting my whole wrap up for what happened on Nationals when I come back from my hiatus and give you all the deets and drop probably a deck list on all that.
Yeah, so you said you got top what 30 60s?
I am officially the 68th best player in the Americas.
That a Worlds or Nats?
Nationals.
Which isn't that lower than Worlds?
Yes, it's so first and second place got their invite to Worlds for Rochester, New York.
Yeah, because you got qualified to go to Nats, right? From
I qualified to go to Nats. I believe I got fourth at my WGP. I played 8 bar Fujimi. It's a very bad deck, and so I decided to take an intelligent deck for nationals. And I took a deck that was too much Thunkeneering for me, I think, to a degree, but I played it properly. There's just issues with getting Japanese cards in time for nationals on a deck that probably shouldn't have been deciding to do last minute.
did
But
you, did you have to
what?
play in Japanese cards or?
Yes. So I was playing for Japanese Worlds. We're split across 2 formats in Weiss. You have the English format and the Japanese format.
Hmm.
Japanese format's basically always ahead of the English format with higher competition. And then because it has a higher card pool, Weiss is a non-rotating game. Most stuff hits in Japanese first, and then they'll get the licensing and rights for the foreign language, aka English, and then we'll get it in half a year later, typically. Half a
And,
year to like a year and a half.
and I doubt they have any intention of making it simultaneous.
Some sets they basically have. They've done that with. They almost did that pretty much with Nikkei. Fairy Tale is there's a gap between Fairy Tale, but it's not that big. Azure Lane, there is somewhat of a gap, but it's not that big. For the most part, most of the gaps with sets being released are quite tight. It'll be in 3 months of each other. But that's because they have to print the cards, and then they'd rather have them in Japanese first and then make sure the translations are good.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
because I wasn't sure if they would ever reach that point. If they came that big of a card game, you think they would? Because I know like Pokemon has never done it, which is a huge knock in my opinion to Pokemon as a TCG. One Piece is getting close. Like I would imagine it's probably OP16 is when we're going to be at parity, because OP15, I think we get it a month after the Japan gets it. So I would hope 16 is when we are at parity.
So there's a quite a few years of difference between the card pool of JP Weiss and English Weiss. So instead of catching up on the gap, they've actually instead made custom sets for each of the 2 separate formats. Because like I said, they're separate formats. So the set I'm looking forward to next, Eminence and Shadow, is an English exclusive set or an English first set. So that set is only going to be in English for the foreseeable future. So
Yeah,
the JP format will not have access to those cards for at least another 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy
Mm-hmm.
to have that kind of structure.
Well, it's because it's the catch up on the in between. They try to push a lot of similar sets from JP into English, but sometimes they don't get licensing rights. Like, for example, they have licensing rights for JoJo in Japan. They don't have a lot of JoJo's licensing in English. So instead of taking a gap on the release schedule for English, they'll fill it in with a separate IP.
But the same card?
Nope,
Just
completely different.
okay.
It's either that or they'll go back to old sets that they were finally able to get the IP rights to or didn't think it was that important to prioritize. Like, for example, Uma Musume. I'm just breathing that into existence because I have a gut feeling that we're finally going to get Uma in English.
I hope you do. Like I said, that's just a huge turnoff for me, to be honest. Like I don't like card games where there is an East and a West.
For the most part, there's not really so much. Like the best format, or sorry, the best decks in the format for Japan half a year ago were Bang Dream, arguably still Data Live, funnily enough, and Shiny Moss. Now it's in JP, it's Gakuma, Shiny Moss, Bang Dream, and Nikkei are kind of no, not even Nikkei. It's still Hasu, and that's how it's been for quite a while. In English, we don't have Hasu yet. We don't have Gakumas, but Shiny Moss is still a top contender, and Bang Dream is still a top contender over in English. So it's just when we get it, it basically mirrors the JP format, with some of the ban list restrictions being slightly different, but that's just because of timing of stuff. And also format. Japanese players play this. This is from an English person perspective because they look at it very differently. I'll say, they play more passively. They say we play. English players play more passively, surprisingly, but they play where in such a way where the game is slower overall, and the English players play to gush and get a kill for the most part. We set up to kill them on the spot and go DOB. So there's a difference in play style on that too, which results in a difference in bans.
Yeah, I would assume there's probably a different play style between even the Japanese One Piece players and the English players. I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a reason why a lot of their bans cater to the American players or English-speaking nations, I guess. Like the Gecko Moria ban. Well, I understood it wasn't that big of a deal in the East, but it was a huge deal in the West. And right now, Emu and Ace are not that big of a deal in OP 14, but they might ban it in January because people in the Americas and stuff like that, which is probably I think a bigger market, typically don't like the playstyle of Emu. So like there could be this argument where they get shoved into banning a card from Emu to make the Americans happy. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's also the factor of somewhat on the English side of things, we have the decks solved the instant they get in our hands because we have 6 months advance on building.
Yeah, so like you're talking about the East solves it first.
Yep.
Yeah, which is what key reason why I don't like there being an East and a West. So I'm glad that One Piece is biting that and getting rid of it. So there's just a One Piece TCG format. So like Magic, kind of like the one thing Magic has done right in their career.
I'd still argue against that personally because, oh my gosh, this is some things to do with Japanese nationals as it exists as a format. So the way Weiss works is you don't have alter arts, you don't have foreign arts, you don't have separate languages. And the benefit behind that is if I am playing English format with English cards, my opponent can't roll up with Japanese cards and then have to tell me what the cards do and then potentially lie to me about what the cards do. Magic has had the god dumb decision to go, oh, Omnath? Here's a textless version of Omnath. Good luck, opponent, figuring out what my Nath does, because I might not tell you.
That is true. They've had that issue with multiple cards. They make Cryptic Command with no text. Yep.
Bolt is one of the few I think they could get away with, and I think Wrath of God as well. But I don't think that they should. Bolt, I think, is because it's just the iconic Magic card. That is probably the only one that makes enough sense that you could get away with. Yeah. As well as basic lands, considering that they've done that for a long time. And everybody should know what a basic land does.
Yeah, I mean, usually it shows the icon on the card, so you could easily tell that it is a forest.
Well, if you looked at the Unlimited in previous sets, they actually printed out the tap symbol or the old school tap symbol
Mm-hmm.
and colon on the cards. So you actually knew that you were doing the action, which is the reason why I still keep a whole bunch of white borders when I used to teach new people how to play Magic, because it actually showed that it declared that on the card.
That is true. I mean, makes sense. I mean, Dawn, yeah, it doesn't really show you on a Dawn card that you have to tap it to cast spells. I guess it's
Yep,
just
but you know that because that's kind of basic and inherent to the game. So you don't need to necessarily have that writing because it's implicitly understood. Basic lands and lightning bolt, sure, but once you get starting to stuff that is 4 lines of text that has separate timings, Defier, it's too much. Cryptic command, I think because of people being so frustrated with it, they'll remember. But the modes on cryptic command are diverse and they're not simple. You should not have to remember it taps, bounces, counters, or what's the other one?
draw.
Draw. See, and I named 3 of that out of the 4 with him without looking at the card. Sure, I've been away from a minute, but the point is, even me, somebody who was playing the game competitively for at least 8 years, still doesn't remember everything on that card, and you'd have to remember it. It's just not a fair way of going about the game.
Yeah. Luckily enough, I don't think that's ever going to be a thing. At least for One Piece, you're never going to have a textless card.
And that's the main reason why most card games avoid the language issue
I guess.
by doing simul release or doing, they're all functional, because you end up with stuff like that. Or at JP Nationals, what happened was the rule enforcement was if you told your opponent the card incorrect, you'd get a warning, and then if you did it a second time, you did anything else of foul nature, you get disqualified straight up on the spot.
I guess
Um, there
technically,
was quite a few people that got warnings for not knowing what the hell their cards read, or intentionally missaying what they did.
so technically, would you consider the vanillas like this one here, like the Wapple, to be a textless card?
No,
No,
because it's not.
because it has the name at the bottom.
So I would consider textless the idea that there's supposed to be something there.
And it's not. Yeah. Okay.
This is closer to something text absent. I would say if we're saying like textless, as how card games typically mean this. Oh, look at this textless, borderless card. If a cards didn't have border normally, then it not having a border on the next one, like that's
True.
nothing special.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
There's no point in stating that. It'd be more useful to say this card's bordered or this card has text, which most cards have text, so it's not needed.
No, what you do is you show up show up with Wapple. Nobody knows what it does, right? And you just literally tell them, "Hey, this is my textless version of Wapple. It has an on play ability." and you try to convince them that there's an on play. It does this, and this, and this, but it's textless. Did it?
You know what I like more? I like the overly explained text cards. Remember those lands from Magic, that set? The Judge lands?
I don't know.
Hold up. Let me find them and I'll share the file. Uh
Yeah.
Full text lands. I believe that's what they're called. Let me save this image and then I'll. Oh, they have the whole set. Let's do this the way then.
Okay, I have them up right here.
Oh, you pulled them up first. Darn it! I thought I was faster.
This card name is Swamp. Basic is its super type. Land is its card type, and a swamp is its subtype. A deck may contain any number of basic lands with the same name. You may play this card during a main phase of your turn. While the stack is empty and you have a priority, you may not play this card if it is not your turn or if you do not have any land plays remaining. While on the battlefield, this card is a basic swamp permanent because it has the subtype swamp. This permanent has the intrinsic mana ability to tap it, add a swamp. This ability cannot be activated. This ability may be activated anytime you have priority or prompt to pay mana, but only while Swamp is on the battlefield. And then it shows you tons of things. The symbol tap denotes tapping a permanent by rotating it 90 degrees. It is then tapped, and it can't be tapped again until it becomes untapped. Once the cost is paid, you add 1 black mana denoted by the swamp symbol, which means this could be spent immediately or left unspent for later use. As each phase or step or of turns ends, you lose any remaining unspent mana. Great card. Great card.
Absolutely perfect art right there. The best art.
Oh my gosh, that is just.
You've never seen these before?
I would lose it if I seen somebody have these in their deck.
It's your favorite type of release. Could you guess what set it was released in?
It says D, so full art, full text alters.
Secret Lair.
Yeah, this one here is Secret Lair. Secretrum Super Drop. Man. Yeah. They just wasted a lot of print and ink writing the text out. Okay. It was a waste of money. They just, I don't know. They probably spent more money on the card, writing that much text than the card's worth.
$20 for the 5 lands.
But on that note, this stream is going a little long, an hour and 30 minutes. So, but as always, smash that like button, subscribe, do all that stuff on the channel. I will be streaming this week again, playing OP12. Sadly, I like almost all the leaders, but I'm not a huge Rayleigh fan. So if you are a Rayleigh fan, come check me out on the stream. Maybe you can coach me through it, because honestly, I really don't do a great job piloting that deck, or do I even like playing the deck. But I'm going to try my hardest. And then next week we'll be doing OP13 and finishing up all of that stuff. Like I said, smash like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff to the ACG channel. The goal is to, in January, have our first and second tournament, hopefully in One Piece. Maybe in the future we'll add more TCGs as we move along, depending on how much the demand is from the community. So if we get tons of Patreon people that want to play Weiss Schwarz as a tournament, we'll do it. The main goal would be the winner of the tournament will get a box, so of a set shipped to their door, or second place might get half a box. There's like technically a smaller, bigger booster pack in One Piece. We'll ship that to their door. But
Kebbs, I'll tell you, for the most part, Weiss boxes are only $60.
Yeah, you want to play for that $60 box. And at that rate, maybe both first place and second place players get a box. I'm just kidding. We all get boxes.
You get a box, and you get a box, and you will get a box.
But not you. And shut up. I'm kidding. So definitely check that out. The link's in the description for the Patreon. Like I said, we'll be firing it up. 2 tournaments. If we hopefully get enough people. First one's going to be a regular standard event, and the other one will probably be off meta. So you basically can't play, of course, any of the top 15, 20 decks leaders in the game. So you would play anything other than that. But until then, till next week, we'll talk about, I don't know what we're talking about next week when it comes to One Piece podcast. Maybe more spoilers. And maybe we'll have Repreach back on for that. Until then, have a great rest of your day.